Margaret. Welcome to my channel. If you're crafty or observant, you'll notice that I'm in the same place as before, which if you are also good listeners and good rememberers, you'll know is in California. So, excuse the lighting and the setup and all the things. This is a video for Sunday, January 10th. And this is finally my response to being tagged by Hannah at Hannah's Books with the book giving tag. Yes, she did it for her Christmas bookaka, which was Hanukkah, which is a month ago. But, you know, people give books all year round, so it's not holiday restricted, right? This is an original tag by Taking Tea with Catherine, and I'm happy to be doing it today. So, we've got 9 questions, and the first one is, do you give books as gifts? To whom? Yes, I give books as gifts to everyone. I limited myself during the holidays this year because I always give books as gifts, and I don't know, I wanted to switch it up, and it felt weird to give gifts this year because everything was so up in the air and last minute and contingent. We didn't end up getting together because someone had COVID and all these things. So it was more of like, I'm taking time to be here, and that's sort of the gift. Like, I hope it worked. All right. Yeah, to everyone. Question number 2, do you receive many books as gifts? Are they successful? Okay, so yes, I do receive lots of books as gifts. I think I received 3 or 4 for Christmas. Are they successful? I think I'd say about 50% of the time. So I don't know if you'll watch this. I bet not. My brother got me Haruki Murakami's Men Without Women, and he said it was on my list. And I don't know what list he's talking about. It may have been on a list at some point before on Murakami, without having read him, just by other people's hearsay. So maybe I'll give it a chance. But the title and the talk around the water cooler is that it's not really going to be for me. And the last time I edited my Amazon wish list was probably like a month or 2 ago, and he's a last minute buyer. So I'm kind of like, what list is that on? What list is still floating around somewhere with Haruki Murakami on my Christmas list or on my wish list? So successful about half the time. Question number 3, when you buy yourself books, do you think of them as gifts? No, because books are like necessary to live. So it's like when I'm living and scrimping and saving on like no income, that's like, it's still a significant expense because all I'm spending on is food and books. There's no clothes. There's hardly any gasoline. You know, so no, I don't think of them as gifts. There's definitely hauls, and they're sort of like stops and starts because I will say no, very sternly, talking to myself, no, 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 and then I think of them as gifts. But normally when I go, oh, well, these 3 books are for research, and this is a great find at a used bookstore, like Backstory. No, that's supposedly helping me work, right? All right, question number 4. Do you consider used books an acceptable gift? Yes, for me. My brother had to ask that, so the Murakami was a used book, apparently, which I could barely tell. Yes, for me, definitely, but, you know, not in terrible condition. And for other people, I hesitate just because I'm a pretty extreme book lover, and so I think I have lower standards for what is acceptable. But I think other people think that a book is a gift less in the content and more in the packaging, and so I hesitate to give certain people something that they might consider beneath them. But to each their own, right? Question number 5. If you could receive a gift card for any bookshop or a website, what would you choose? I already knew this one right away. I always forget the name, but as soon as I look it up on Google Maps, I go, that's it! It's called Hatchard's in Piccadilly in London, and it's right next to Fortnum & Mason in Piccadilly, their like flagship store. And when I went there in 2018 with my mom, Fortnum & Mason was a disappointment, but Hatchards was the beautiful surprise that made it worth it. Getting to that area of London at that time of day. I mean, it's the type of place that I could have wandered around in ages. It's like a theme park. It's beautiful. So, hats off to Hatchards. Question number 6, gift wrap or bag? Presentation. So I said brown paper with some gold foil. Gold foil. Brown paper packages tied up with string, or I don't know, something recyclable or reusable, like cloth ribbon. I'm not big on the stuff that just gets trashed right after you rip it off, because that's not very sustainable. So it looks pretty, but for a very short amount of time, and it just goes into the landfill. So my preferred presentation is like, I don't know, newsprint that doesn't come off on white clothes, or brown paper that, you know, used to be a grocery bag. That's actually a good one. That's what we used to cover our school books with. Does anyone else remember that? Yes, and I also said the book already has a cover, which is kind of like the presentation, so. All right. Question number 7. Can you communicate to others when a book is a lend and not a gift? Yes, and I can ask for it back. The problem comes when there's a gap in my impeccable system, and I think I've lent a book, and I can't remember who I lent it to, and I look on Goodreads, and they don't have a convenient place to see this, so, or they do, but I didn't put it in, so. I hope Storygraph has a place to put lent this book to. I know they have a mark as owned, but I don't want to like tag it. I guess that's the more computer literate thing to do, is just tag it, but maybe I'll just fall back to a pen and paper. Or you could do a stamp from the library of, so that the other person knows. But I don't know. I feel more easy tracking the book being out than relying on someone else tracking whose it is when it's in their hands. Does that make sense? So, yeah. Question number 8. Have you ever given someone an ebook? Yes, for freebies, for review copies, definitely. I don't think I've ever gifted someone an ebook, because for several years now, I've tried not to spend money at Amazon. So, no. I don't know how that would work either, because I think probably the easiest would be to give a gift card and put a link to the ebook. I'm not sure, maybe bookshop.org has it worked out better. But I do know what's really easy is to gift an audiobook, because I just did that for Christmas. Libro FM is an awesome organization. They're very small. They're very agile, and they're not Amazon, but they're bringing lots of books to lots of people, and you can tag a bookstore to get a small percent of the proceeds from your subscription. So it's just like Audible. You get, $15 a month for one audio book, and you have that time to listen to it and build on. Yeah, there's some really good audiobooks out there. I'm a slow audio reader, if that's the way you say it. But I love their mission and their cause and their marketing verve and zazzle, and they're just amazing. So I try to boost them every time I can. So everyone, if you don't know what to get someone far away and you can't mail it in time, get them an audiobook 1-month subscription. It's $15. And it's free to mail. Question 9. Name 5 books you'd like to receive as gifts. Woo! Yeah, so basically these are all the hardcovers that are just too expensive, and I don't want to wait. I'm obviously going to wait for a paperback version, but if someone was going to give me a gift, I would ask for Remembrance by Rita Woods, which I learned about from the historical fiction happy hour run by Carrie Callahan and Leanna Hartsaker. Leanna, no, it's a different name. It's close. Anyway, I'll get it and I'll put it down below. That was a great thing that they ran during the summer and fall of the pandemic, and it was lovely. Hamnet by Maggie O'Farrell, which I found out about from the online festival that Hey on Y put on in the spring, and has been the darling of many literary circles since, and was just on A Mighty Blaze as an interview for The Thoughtful Bro, and Maggie O'Farrell was lovely, so that was very exciting. Trouble of the Saints by Elia Dawn Johnson. I can't remember where I heard about this one, but it ticks lots of boxes. I think it's like a 1920s, 30s jazz historical black woman mystery. I can't remember exactly, but the cover's beautiful and it's stuck in my mind, so it's on the list. Yeah, let's see. I, Tituba by Maryse Condé. So this is one of the books I couldn't find in an English translation or in the French at Backstory, but I'm patiently waiting. It's been around for a while, so I'm sure there's a copy waiting for me somewhere used. Okay, so I don't know if I'm ready, or I don't know if I like. There's a Jane Eyre retelling that Books by Lanus has talked about as her favorite ever, and it's from the viewpoint of Bertha Mason. And I'm blanking on the title, but I'll put that down below as well. Anyway, so she goes on and on about how great it is, and I started reading it and was just like, what? This is not the same feel at all. And I think I was going in with preconceived expectations, which is what will foil you every time. But I think this will be a similar type of thing for something that is not so like already lodged in close to my heart like Jane Eyre is. So, yeah, The Crucible was good, but it's not like something I reread every so often to, self-soothe. And I just bought this one as an ebook for myself. So one of our authors from Paper Lantern, which I just talked about last week, was Edie Kay, and she wrote A Lady's Revenge, which is a book about lady boxers in the Regency period. And it's true. Well, it's based on a true personage. So this is what I'm very excited to find out about. And I just bought the book today. So, woohoo! And I almost forgot, I should tag people. Like I said, this isn't holiday restricted. You can do this all year. So I'm going to tag people about giving books and see what their answers are. I'd like to tag Will from Ilham Reads, Carrie from Very Literary Carrie, Tony from Book Text, and Courtney at Incessant Bookworm. So I'll go creep on your pages and let you know. I hope it's a fun one. Oh, and the other thing I was going to go over today. So at this time, when I'm in California, and it's not yet New Year's, I was getting up close to 200 subscribers, which is super exciting. And I wanted to do a 200 Q&A to sort of celebrate the milestone. In order to do the Q&A, I need some cues. So send me some questions. Do it on this video, and I'll look at all the comments and compile the questions and answer as many as I can in the next week's video. I did a little celebration for my book's anniversary in November, so this will be a January, 200 new type of anniversary. Maybe I'll come up with a theme for it, but should be fun. Later today is going to be the first live stream for my Patreon tier of the Tea Life Twice. Sorry, the Taste Life Tea-Weiss. That's what it is. Taste Life Tea-Weiss. Book club, book chat. So, it's $8 a month, and you can join me there and have a lot of fun. Lots of celebrations in January. This year is going to be better. There's lots of good riddances happening in January, and let's just keep them coming, right? All right, well, thanks for stopping by. I really appreciate you watching and liking and commenting and interacting. Thanks so much, and see you next time.